Okay, see this? This is my longboard, and I was actually planning on longboarding over to a coffee shop to do some writing on an article for my website, brilliantsci.com, but it is snowing outside. It was perfectly fine yesterday. It was actually warm enough that I was riding around, and now it's snowing. Check this out. Look at this. This is insane. So instead of going to a coffee shop and writing, I'm going to be talking about proven methods to stop overthinking. So you're going to want to check this out. So proven method number 1 requires a couple different props. And this is a really good method if you wake up in the morning and you feel like you have to go. And that you, as soon as you wake up, you're just anxious and you have so much on your plate. So what is a good tactic for this? This is actually something that has been developed by a woman named Julia Cameron. It was actually for artists, actually. But this is a technique you can use in order to stop overthinking. The process is called morning pages. So the way that morning pages works is you get either 3 pieces of paper, or you can get a notebook like this one. This is my Rhodia notebook. And you write 3 pages longhand of whatever is on your mind. One of the very first things, just start writing 3 pages longhand. And what is key about this, the magic part about this, is a lot of times these different thoughts and emotions, things going around in our head, they are sort of like in shadows, almost like a horror movie. And if you've ever seen a horror movie, like a behind the scenes footage, you'll see that if they show the monster like in fully big bright lights and the guy just kind of walking around on set, then it's not very scary anymore. You kind of see the suit is made of rubber and it's just not scary. But what is scary is when it is in shadows, when you're not seeing all the details. And because when that happens, your imagination sort of fills in the gaps. So what this morning pages does is by writing out all the different thoughts that are in your mind, whether it be an anxiety that you have later on in the day, or things that you've kind of thought about in the past, or even just literally what is in your mind that moment. Like, oh, I'm feeling really tired because I just woke up and I can't wait till I have coffee. Whatever it is. By doing that, it sort of shines light on these different beliefs and thoughts that are in your mind. And in doing so, it can actually relieve a lot of the different anxiety, and you get it out of your head and onto the page, which can really help with overthinking. So once it's on the page, you can think, oh, okay, it's out there. It's out of my head and I don't have to think about it as much anymore. And this really does help. All right, but you might be saying to yourself, but Ben, I hate writing longhand. It is the absolute worst and my hand starts to cramp up. At least I know that's how I was. And so I didn't want to write out 3 pages longhand. So instead, I got my laptop here. And then we just kind of open it up and we get 3 pages going and we just start typing away. This is my phantom typing you can see here. And you just type, and you don't stop until the 3 pages is done. That is the key. You do not stop. And so you just keep writing and writing, and it is so cathartic. It only takes 5, maybe 10 minutes, and it gets all those thoughts out of your head and onto the computer. And if you want a little bit more details than that, check out the description down below. I'm going to link to some resources so you can really dive into the morning pages thing if that's something you want to try. And if you overthink a lot, especially in the morning, I highly recommend it. And that leads me to talk about the second way that I stop overthinking, and it is this thing. Or it could be really anything physical, because that is the number 1 thing I do if I am super stressed out, if I just can't stop my mind from going crazy. I will go to the gym. I will get out of my environment. I will get outside somehow. I will oftentimes ride this longboard, because when you're doing something physical, especially something that takes all of your concentration, it can really direct your thoughts in a good, beneficial way. And that doesn't mean that your mind is going to be completely silent or anything like that. That won't really happen. But you'll find that after doing 20, 30 minutes or an hour of some sort of activity, a physical activity, that you'll find that your mind just isn't thinking nearly as much as it used to be. And in fact, you can use that as a pattern interrupt, especially if your mind has been having too many anxious thoughts. I actually used that method about 3 or 4 months ago when I was just having a wretched day and I just couldn't get my mind off of something that was going on in my life. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go to the gym. There's nothing I can do about this at this point. So I'm just going to go to the gym. I started lifting a bunch of heavy weights. I was still thinking about my problem a little bit in the background, but you know what? By the end of the time that I was at the gym, things just seemed to get a lot better. My mood had improved, probably because of all of those endorphins. And you know what? I just wasn't caught up in that singular mindset of focusing on my problem. I was now focused on other things. And the final method that I use when it comes to... Ooh, oh my goodness, this cat is in everything. The final method I use to actually stop overthinking is to train your brain to stop overthinking. And really the best method to do this is through meditation. Because what meditation does is by taking a point of focus, like your feeling of breathing, and forcing your mind to be on that feeling again and again and again, that can actually train your brain to be in that state, that more calm state, on a regular basis. So what meditation really does is it trains your brain to a new default mode. So instead of being in that overthinking, kind of anxious mode all the time, meditation over time, it takes about 6, 7, or 8 weeks, it can actually train your brain into a new default mode. And so that's what I've really done, is through meditation, through some of these different exercises, I've trained my brain to no longer overthink all the time, 24/7, because that's what it used to do. And now there's a lot of times where I'm standing in line at the grocery store, and instead of thinking about my problems or things that are going on in my life or things I'm struggling with, instead I'll just be standing in line at the grocery store, not doing anything particular, just enjoying the moment. So if you want to learn more about this, I talk about this in a full podcast episode on my podcast, Shut Up Brain. This is Proven Methods to Stop Overthinking. So if you want to dive in more, go check out that episode. There'll be links in the description. And I want to hear from you. What are some methods that you use in order to stop overthinking? Because I like trying out different ideas that people are doing. So in the comments below, let me know at least one thing you do in order to stop overthinking. Bonus thing, if you're overthinking too much, you can pet a kitty cat. Oh, look at this one. Oh, look at you.